Am I the a-hole for not delaying my wedding because my sister is going through a terrible divorce? My sister Rachel is separating from her husband Mark. Somebody anonymously sent Mark a letter in the mail claiming their 3 kids weren't his, ages 1, 3, and 4. Mark took a paternity test because the letter was so detailed that he had a feeling it might be true. The results came back and he wasn't the father of any of the kids. And Mark now wants nothing to do with my sister or my nieces and nephew. It's been hard on her, and everyone has been shaken. The problem is my fiancé and I are getting married soon. Everything is set for the end of October, and everyone is excited. But Rachel. She's told me multiple times to change the wedding date, so she can heal from the trauma of her husband abandoning her and their children. I told her no, and she burst into tears claiming I wasn't being supportive and that she wasn't coming. My fiancé's family have all booked time off to come to this wedding because they live out of state. But she claims I'm choosing his family over her. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. All 3 of their children aren't his? That she repeatedly cheated on her husband and is now dealing with the consequences does not mean you don't get to move along with your life's plan. How would that sound anyway? I'm postponing my wedding so my sister that basically cheated on her husband 3 times can feel supported. Not stay home. I can't believe none of the kids are his. Poor guy. Your sister is the a-hole. She's at fault for her marriage collapsing, then demands everyone else to stop their lives so she can heal from the trauma of the consequences of her actions catching up to her. Definitely the a-hole. The nerve of her to say he abandoned his wife and children. None of the children were his. He is not the father, and they're young enough, at least, to not be too affected if she puts in the work. She probably won't. Not the a-hole. Your sister caused much of her own trauma. She lied, and I would assume cheated on her husband, so she left her. She wasn't just abandoned. Enjoy your wedding. Probably best if she wasn't there anyways. Obi's ex-brother-in-law is the only one entitled to feel trauma. And those poor kids, especially the older ones. Not they all, Obi. You already have the day basically ready. People already have the time off. And personal bias. Halloween wedding? That better go through. Your sister talks about getting over trauma, yet she's the one that I'm sure broke a man. Enjoy your wedding and bust out a monster bash. She can take this time to either look for a sitter for the kids or learn how to deal with her own choices in life. If I were a guest and had arranged time off, transportation, hotel, etc. for this wedding, and then the date was moved because someone who is neither the bride nor groom cheated on their spouse years ago, don't bother inviting me to the new date. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to share my inheritance with a sibling? I don't have anyone I can share these thoughts with in person, so I'm hoping you guys can help me resolve this. I, 20 male, am a single child, or at least I thought I was. Then just over a year ago, I discovered that I have a sister, Lucy. The story goes that my mother had a child with her first boyfriend while she was in college, and they couldn't support her, so she opted for adoption at birth. My father was aware of this, but I was never told. Anyways, about a year ago, she made contact with our mother. They've gotten on pretty well, kept in touch, and go on the odd lunch. Lucy's also attended a couple of our family events this past year. Her and I get along fine as well. We're different people, so not friends. So I sort of see her as an acquaintance / friend of the family, I guess. It's a little odd because I know we're closely related, but at the same time she doesn't feel like family, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's the backstory. Now on to the dilemma. My grandparents on my mother's side both passed away a few years ago. My mother was their only child, and I their only grandchild, and they left their entire estate to me. This was known to my parents and me before they passed, as they had expressed it when they made their will. My parents are well off financially. Mom's a nurse while Dad's a doctor, and so they were fine with the arrangement. I was given access to the money on my 20th birthday, and the sum of money was much larger than I expected, totaling around $6 million. This is why I can't really talk about this with anyone impartial, because I don't really want friends etc. to know. Anyway, a few weeks ago my mother sat me down and asked me to share the money with Lucy. Now here's the thing. Like I said, to me Lucy is essentially an acquaintance. I know we're related by blood, but I don't exactly feel the type of connection to her that would merit giving her such a large sum of money, or any money at all for that matter. So I explained that to my mother, and she wasn't exactly happy with my answer. She believes I'm being extremely selfish, and that Lucy could very much benefit from this money as well, since she's still a college student and in debt. Here's where I think I might be the a-hole. I don't really see that as my problem. I believe families who feels like family, not who shares your DNA. Secondly, my grandparents were aware of Lucy's existence, even though they never met her, and they chose to leave everything to me all the same. Also, it is not as though Lucy grew up poor in the foster system or anything. She was adopted at birth by what seems like two great people. Her adoptive parents are an accountant and a teacher. I do not plan to just hoard the money. I am starting law school this year, and plan to use it to start my own firm once I'm finished. So go forth and judge me, please. Am I being a selfish a-hole here, or am I justified in thinking that simply being related by blood doesn't merit any claim here? Not a-hole. Your grandparents were aware of Lucy's existence, and they chose not to leave her an inheritance. I'm guessing, since she was legally adopted, your grandparents didn't feel it was necessary. Also, Opie's mother was obviously aware of Lucy's existence, but seemingly did nothing about it until now. Either way, not a-hole. Yeah, the adoption took away any legal right, at least where I'm from, to the inheritance. Mom tries to make up for giving her daughter away by giving away Opie's money. Though I get the sentiment, this will only divide a family. Really hope she didn't tell her daughter about the inheritance, as that could have set her up for a lot of hurt and fighting. Also, depending on where Opie lives, you should refrain from giving even a small amount of money, as that could be counted as admittance if the sister ever should try to sue. Not a-hole. Your mother's parents could have made provisions for your mother and/or the daughter she gave up for adoption if they wanted. Your mother is free to make whatever arrangements she sees fit with her estate, but your grandparents made their wishes known when they left their estate to you. I agree. Your parents seem to be doing well, and now that you have that money, they could focus their finances on her. My father makes a majority of the family's income, and this isn't his child. So I don't know how he would feel about financing her. Should have mentioned that. By the same token, she is not your child. I generally agree with the no a-hole commentary. I'm just going to point out that if you don't share, that's totally valid. Just don't be surprised later if your mom leaves more to Lucy than you might otherwise expect, as her way of equalizing. Next story. Am I the a-hole for lashing out at my sister for not shutting up about adoption decision? My girlfriend, 25 female, is almost 4 months pregnant. We try to be careful with protection, but I guess we messed up, and here we are. Her and I, 25 male, decided adoption will be best. We want kids in the future, but we're both working minimum wage jobs, barely making it okay with the bills every month. And we talked about it a lot before we decided it just wouldn't be fair if our baby had to live in horrible conditions because it will get expensive, when we could find someone who might be able to. We found this couple through friends of friends, and we are getting to know them pretty well, seeing what kind of people they are. My family knows we're choosing this route, and for the most part, support it. My sister, 35, however, keeps pushing that we keep the baby. She has 3 kids herself, and all she keeps saying is parenthood is hard, but it's rewarding. I've told her, yeah, we get that. We want kids, but in the future with better jobs, and us not counting change in our pockets to take the train to work. It's been hard enough accepting the reality that we won't get to raise our first baby together, and her constant comments don't make it better. Even when I ask her, tell me how we're gonna support a baby, she just said she doesn't know, but you'll find a way. I've told her many times to stop talking about it because of everything it does to us, and she's not even being helpful. Today at my mom's, she still brings it up again. Just saying she really thinks we're making a mistake, and talking about how tough it'll be as a parent, but it'll be worth it. My girlfriend got all upset, she went to the bathroom. And I don't know, I just told her to shut up already. Exactly like that. And that I'm sick of her always talking about this. We know everything we're going to miss out on, so stop talking already. Wasn't like screaming or anything, but I did raise my voice at her because I was just so frustrated already. We didn't stay long, but yeah, my sister does think I was an a-hole for having that reaction. And she didn't deserve to be told shut up for simply caring about her future niece/nephew. We've never fought like this before, but I really couldn't take it anymore. She won't talk to me. Still thinks I was in the wrong. It's hard to see how, but maybe I missed something. Was I an a-hole? Now for the comments. Not an a-hole. You made a very hard, extremely mature decision. Your sister has zero say in it, and if she haven't understand it by now, I guess now she does. If she cares about the baby so much, she can adopt it herself. Good luck, Opie. Funny thing is, I suggested that if she's so adamant about us keeping the baby, but she just told me to stop being ridiculous. Yeah, sounds like she cares so much about future nephew/niece. Not stay home. You've thought about it thoroughly and made what you feel is the best decision for yourselves and your child. Your sister needs to back off and realize it's not a decision you made lightly. If she's that adamant you keep the child, is she planning to help you out financially? Unless she is, she has no say in anything. As someone who struggled with fertility, thank you. Thank you for doing the best for your child. Thank you for giving someone a chance at parenthood that they may not have had otherwise. And good luck with everything. You're doing an incredible, selfless thing. I've brought that up before, and obviously her answer is don't be ridiculous, and then that she has 3 kids she's already supporting. That means a lot. Usually don't get all watery eyes for a comment, but this one does it. Hasn't been easy, especially for my girlfriend. I wish we didn't have to make this choice, but we know this is for the best. I really hope things worked out for you. Hey Opie, I don't know if you're planning an open adoption. Sounds like it. But regardless, a lot can happen over years. I advise you and your girlfriend to write a letter to the baby explaining your decision and how much you love it and wish the timing could have been better. Give it to the adoptive parents. If anything happens, they move away, the relationship sours, something happens to you and/or your girlfriend, etc., then the child will always have your reasons and your love. Something like that, yeah. They'd like for the baby to know about us as they grow up, even if we're not in contact. We're doing something like that, but it's more like a personal journal from each of us, a letter and some pictures. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for RSVPing no to my stepsister's wedding? My stepsister Serena and I have been stepsisters since I was 5 and she was 9, but we have known each other longer. I honestly don't remember my life before she or her mom were in it. Serena's dad passed away when she was a baby, and my mom died 18 months after my dad married my stepmom. So we essentially lived together for a large chunk of our childhoods. But she never did consider me family or her sister. She's older, so I get that the experience was different for her, and she remembers a life before me. I never took it too personally, though I did try to make us closer over the years, but she was never interested. People used to tell me that once we were adults, it would be easier because we'd be at the same stage in life. Serena's getting married in a little over 2 months, and I decided to RSVP no to the invite. I was always a little awkward about going, but I would have. But last month, my parents invited Serena's bridesmaids over to thank them for being part of the wedding. There, I learned that one of her friends' younger sister was also going to be a bridesmaid. This is a friend she has known since senior year of high school. The younger sister is apparently someone she considers a sister. The youngest sister then told me Serena always said she was the sister she never had and stuff. That she had specially asked her to be in the wedding because she considered her as close to a baby sibling as she ever got, and wanted her there. Said nothing, but it just made me realize that she actively chose not to try with me, but could choose to try with one of her friend's siblings she met years after meeting me. Through talking with Serena's little sister, I realized she had made such a big effort to hang out with and spend time with her. It went to her milestones like graduation or even big birthdays. Sweet 16, 21st. She never showed up to that stuff for me, or when she did, my 21st she did show for. She made no effort to hang out with me. She went because her mom had paid for an open bar, and some of her family was going to be there. I don't remember her even speaking to me that night. So I RSVP'd no, and her future husband sent me an email, with my name wrong, that Serena didn't want her mom to know. But then he went and mentioned it to my dad and now it has blown up. My dad asked why I wouldn't attend, and her mom is saying that after all she has done for me, I should show up and be part of the family event. To me, I might be their family, but Serena has made it very clear I'm not hers. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I feel guilty too because this has made ripples in my family. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add, Serena's little sister had no idea I was her stepsister. The little I gathered is, she thought I was a niece of my dad, or as she put it, her mom's husband's niece. Another point, because it may be relevant, is she doesn't talk to me. I make the effort, but she does not communicate with me of her own volition. I was always the one trying to engage with her. Even as basic as a hi, I don't get from her. Not day home. Why go to a wedding of someone who has made zero effort to make you feel important to them? I wouldn't go. Not day home. Would Opie even be invited to be part of the photos? Or at best, Be tolerated as part of them. It's okay. You don't need to humiliate yourself to make others happy. You did your best. You don't owe anyone more than that. Don't feel bad. Your parents and step are the a-holes for guilting you rather than your stepsister. It's clear she doesn't consider you a sister. You're not obligated to carry on the charade. I know I've been indifferent at best to you your entire life, and I don't acknowledge our relationship at all. Actually, I don't even really like you. But our parents want me to invite you, and I really want more presents. Does she even want you to come? Will she even say hi? Will she notice if you're not there? Oh, will she even say how she knows you? Or will you be an old family friend? Not stay home. Don't feel bad. You didn't do it. Stepsister caused this. You are over 21. Sit your dad and stepmom down and explain what you wrote here. Say, assure stepmom it has nothing to do with how much you appreciate what she's done for you. That you don't blame her for how sister treats you. But at this point in your lives, you give up. Include the tidbit about the soon-to-be husband didn't even get your name right and told you to keep it from her. That while you tried, you now accept it's never going to change. And hearing about the little sister she always wanted helped you see that more clearly. It makes you sad, but you won't spend any more time being the only one putting effort in. I'd put cash on guessing they didn't want the mom to know about the email, because she probably already talked to sister about you not being in the wedding. Stepmom is probably freaking out because she knows her child is being an A. Can't control your reaction either. It may be being forced to admit the ugly truth about her kid and the relationship between her and your dad. Tell them you hope her day goes the way she wants it, that they both enjoy the day, but you do not wish to pretend anymore.